Uh, Hi everyone, what's going on? Mike here once more from Opportunity Pause, and this evening we are going to be talking about our upcoming event from zero to legacy. I think this evening is going to be fire, in my opinion, because what we're talking about is something that you don't hear very often, in the sense that you're living abroad 1 year, 2 years, three, four, five. Before you know it, it's 10 years, it's 15 years, and then you look back and you ask yourself, what have I done for myself, my family, let alone generation? And that's what we are going to be having the live event in exactly 1 week from today, next Friday in Berlin. You can be there in person or online. So today we were going to be giving you a teaser of what you can expect on that day. But before we proceed, I'd like to introduce my friend and business partner, Steven, that he can briefly say a few words and then we get into the gist of today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike, and to all our viewers out there. Thank you for joining us. As always, we are very excited about this day and as well the upcoming event. As Michael said, this is going to be quite a different one because of the lineup of the people that are coming and the topics that have been selected. They have been hand-picked selection, like exactly what we know from the feedback that we've been getting, what the community needs. And that's why I'm very excited. And most importantly, knowing that the likes of Romaric and the rest are going to be joining us even here. So it's very amazing, an opportunity that everyone should try to be there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So it's always interesting when we have a live event like this. The guests to join us from backstage. So Romaric, thanks for joining us. So from here, that's where we broadcast and we are literally everywhere. So before we proceed, Romaric, please go ahead, introduce yourself, and let the viewers know who you are.
Hello everyone. I'm Romaric Nyabo. I'm a Cameroonian by nationality.
Do you have to
Uh,
say that?
I'm a proud Cameroonian. Yeah, yeah.
That's good.
I am a financial advisor, web management. So it's an honor to be part of the team. Definitely, I'm really, really looking forward to an amazing event, upcoming event, and we
100%.
will have. I went through the list of speakers. It is very enriching. I guess I'll have a lot to learn myself, even though
100%.
I'm one of the speakers.
Yeah. No, it's exciting, it's one thing to talk in online like this, but it's a different thing to meet in person. And this is why we're looking forward to that in-person event, you know. Yeah. So, the essence of today's, online streaming is just to uh, give the people a teaser of what they can look forward to understand who are those people coming, what's their background like, and what can they look forward to on that day, just to warm people up. This is usually what we do ahead of every upcoming event which we have. So we are now actually streaming across YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and potentially also Twitter and so on. Wherever you're watching us from or listening to us, please feel free to leave your comments now or later on. So we're going to get into the gist of today. From my point of view, I think wealth creation is something that we don't consciously think about when we move abroad. Um, Stephen, how well can you relate to that, the matter of wealth creation and also the people around, you know, your environment? How well can they relate to wealth creation as people living abroad?
Well, I think it's mixed. The topic is of important interest to many people because, like you always say, in most of our journeys when we come abroad, there is always that feeling or a wish to get better, to improve your life.
Yeah.
And part of this wish is also wealth creation.
Hmm.
But then as we take this journey forward and try to fit in and integrate, the idea of wealth creation starts slowly taking a backseat as the survival mode comes into play.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think this is quite common in many of the cases, because
Yeah.
then once you come, you arrive. First of all, the celebration of the new milestone reached.
That's true.
And as you're celebrating the new milestone, the realities of the day, the situation around the place where you are coming now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start now getting feedback from the people that have been there longer than you,
Yeah.
people who came probably with different dreams, with different backgrounds, academic and social and economic, and they start feeding onto you. They start giving you sometimes stories or realities that affected them, things that they had and they did come.
Yeah.
So that's why you find that many come with a lot of goals, with a lot of ambitions and ideas, but slowly you start losing that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask me, how is it perceived in the community? I would say both ways. In some cases, you have young people that are coming, they're new. Sometimes they make crazy things. They are very motivated. They are very creative. And then you have some of the older folks that have tried things in the times when they came in, things were not so easy and have given up. So I would say it's
Yeah.
a mixed, but what I like very much, or what I'm very optimistic about, are the young generation. Maybe because of the new forms of communication and awareness and the level of education and boldness, you find that people are now starting to believe that, yes, it's possible to be a foreigner and buy a house. It's
Mm-hmm.
possible to be a foreigner and probably save towards something bigger than what your parents did.
Yeah.
It's possible to register, start, and run your own business, and so on. So I find it's kind of now open, and I'm getting more and more excited about what the diasporan community can achieve.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I
Romaric,
don't know
you are
what Rob
financial.
thinks about this.
Yeah. I mean, I think Romaric has, I would say, the most experience when
I,
it comes.
I know he has the expert knowledge on this. He speaks to a lot of people. So
Exactly.
I'll be very curious to know his perspective on that.
Please. You need to unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Romaric, your microphone is on mute.
Yeah. I think he's trying to unmute it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I would say, Stephen, you're very correct. We come here with big dreams and diversified experiences. But at the end of the day, everyone is here for a better life.
Mhm.
That's what it all boils down to. And most often than not, the first contact you have affects your journey, even subconsciously affects your journey towards at making it in a country like Germany. Because some, like let's say people who came here 20 years ago, they had different experiences, they had different opportunities. Most of them will tell you that things were a little bit, let's say those who came during the Deutschmark era, they will tell you that things were a little bit better than now. If they worked their money, they actually see what they have worked for and they pay lesser bills and things like that. Then those who came 10 years, because the Deutschmark era stopped in 2002 when the euro was launched. And now you start getting people's different perspective about how making it in a land like Germany. So now
Mhm.
the question now is, what are we doing for the generations that are to come? Because
Yeah.
one of the things is that
Era stopped in 2000.
Yeah. Go on. That was
okay,
Steven.
one of the thing is that I see most young people immediately they get good jobs. They go for things like branded cars and nicer apartments. But to be
Uh,
honest, if you ask me, I can't afford a good car.
of
I can
course.
afford a very good apartment.
Yeah.
But if you ask what are the assets that you have? What is the legacy you are trying to build for yourself and your family?
Yeah.
What can you show for the job you have? You will say, "Oh, I have a good car. I have
Yeah.
a good, a very, very comfortable house. I live in the city, not the
Mm-hmm.
suburb." So there is that mental change that we have to think about how wealth doesn't make noise. Okay.
No.
Meaning
No.
that it's not the car that you drive that will speak volume, but it's about what you have as an asset. What
Yeah.
collateral do you have for yourself? And we as youths, especially the younger generation, needs to start changing that mentality for the not only for ourselves, but also for the younger generation, because there is a trend where I do a lot of financial analysis for clients, and you realize that most Africans that came here, you see their children are also following the same line. They are not really,
Yeah.
really getting. Germany is a land of opportunity, but the children, or let's say the second generation, okay, of immigrants, they are not really being pushful with the opportunity that they have that probably the first generation didn't have. And that boils down to education. What are you teaching? What are you passing on? Because these children will be growing up and thinking, oh, my parents, what do they really have to show at this point in time, at this point of their lives? What do they have? They have spent 30 years in Germany. What can they show for it? And of course, they have been working hard, but not smart. So we need to change. It's not about Germany. If you need to work hard, but the first thing you need to think, how smart can I work that money? And also, we need to start being very intentional. You have a meeting with people. Let's say I'll have, because like you said, I have these meetings every day. I talk to several people. When you ask someone, how much do you spend in 1 month on groceries? They start thinking, but it's the money that they have actually worked for. You see, they have bills that you see someone has is paying for a gym membership that they don't go to. You see someone has an internet provider that he pays about more than 30 euros per month, but to get the same services, there are offers of 9 euros with the same amount of data. It's just because once you came to Germany, someone told you, oh, O2 is providing these services, so go for it. And once you go for it, you stopped. When I came to Germany, for example, I had O2, which I was paying 20 euros. But once I figured out there were other opportunities, I called O2 that if they don't change it, I'm going to switch to another provider. They gave me more data and reduced my fee. So even the 10 euros that I got from it, I can use it for something else or investment related. So we need to start being conscious about how we spend our money and start looking about how we can build. Okay. Like you said before, now things are changing. People are now seeing the possibility of getting into entrepreneurship even while in a foreign land. So this is the mentality that we should bring as Africans. And I'm very, very excited about how we will share. Of course, this is a teaser, and we will definitely hit on those points where Africans need to really improve. And trust me, those who will be there, they will not regret it. We have a lot
A
to
100%, 100%. I can't say it enough, because just right now you've said two or three very important concepts. Yeah. You know why I was smiling when you mentioned the issue of the gym. I was just reflecting on my own self. I was spending at times 30 euros a month for something that I was only attending maybe once or twice.
Mhm.
So if I just one time I was just looking at like, oh, I'm actually giving these guys almost 320 or 360 euros a year for
You're not
nothing.
alone. So many.
2 years I kept this contract. I gave them over 700 euros. I'm like, what can I do with this amount? Just imagine I had consulted someone like you and say, what can I do with this 30 euros? Over a period of, let's say, 5 or 10 years, it can do amazing things.
Exactly.
So small things or small investments making a very big impact. Or small expenses taking a hole into our incomes. And then over a period of time, then we ask ourselves, why is it that I am actually making money, but I'm not seeing the impact in my own life? Yes. So that's something really that is very important that you touched. And I think you might have to come back on that and dig into much more. Then you said something again, which is very important about the generational differences in terms of tapping into opportunities.
Yeah.
So I got something while you're mentioning this. I saw the missed opportunities by the first generation migrants. Talking about those that came, let's say 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like I was once having a discussion with some in the community, and they've been here for over 2 or 3 decades. And they were telling me about the missed opportunities. A time when they could have afforded an apartment, a 2.5 or 3-room apartments at about 50,000 euros.
Yeah.
And I was like, how could that even be possible? With a 50,000 today, you can't even afford like I don't know, not even half a room in Berlin. So
yeah, even a garage,
even 20 quadrat meter. So I'm like, wow, this is the concept of time and timing and the time window that we have as Afro diaspora or migrants generally. There is always a time window in every newcomers. There is always a window when they arrive. There are opportunities at that particular moment. And they had that. And the generation that is coming, they also have certain opportunities, but they're also limited in terms of window. That means if you are not informed and you're not very open to learning and understanding the times, it's very possible to miss. And then you come back after 20 years and you say, we had these opportunities and we missed them. So would you like to talk about that? Because I find the last time when we were talking about how much do I need to invest to achieve my goal and for how long, it has to do with how old I am, how much do I earn now, and that also defines the pain that I have to go through. Would you like to touch a bit on that concept? I'm sure you will say more to that during that event.
Yeah, I will take an example, okay? I like to be practical. For someone who, let's say, if you go to the bank and ask the bank and tell the bank, okay, I want to get into real estate. I have saved my money. I want to buy a property. Definitely, the bank looks at several criteria, and we all know what they are, like your residential status, your Shufa score, your what, let's say your down payment, what down payment do you have?
Yeah.
And probably they look at if you have a collateral or not. They look also at probably different parameters that will affect you in the classification of high risk, low risk, or medium risk. So, meaning that if you come here, for example, as a student, you are definitely into a high risk. You are already considered as high risk because you have a temporary residence.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you will not stay forever as a student. Okay.
Yeah.
So meaning that you need to start thinking what students can do is different from what a worker can do, and probably people who have worked for 5 years can do. So meaning that every stage has a stepping line. And the reason why people get so backward is because they want to, it's just like you want to start an investment. You say, oh, once I start working, I'm going to solve problems for my house. You see people taking loans to build houses in Africa. Houses that, if, for example, you see you are paying the loan, I'll take an example, Nigeria. You are paying the loan in euros, okay? Then you send the money in Nigeria. Imagine you send the money in Nigeria in, let's say, 3 years ago. And with the currency right now, you will be bleeding, but you are paying that loan.
100%. Still in
So
euros here.
in euros here. So now, but this is an opportunity if you would have been smart about it. I'm not saying that investing back home is not good. I'm saying that you need to create a balance on security first year.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you need to create that security so that if things go wrong, which in most cases they do go wrong in Africa because you are not there to control.
Yeah.
So it's just like an entrepreneur. You need it for an entrepreneur, or let's say a self-starter, you need to even control the finance sector. You need to have knowledge in the finance sector. You need to have knowledge in marketing and all these things. But your presence also needs to be there.
Yeah.
That is the lacking part of it when we are looking at Africa. So Africa, when you are not in Africa, is riskier than you investing here. So you need to find security here, then you take a greater risk over there. I'm not saying that we should not go back home, because to be honest, if you ask my opinion, we owe that to our communities back home. We must look for a way, and that is why I appreciate what you guys are doing. You guys are helping even back home with the knowledge you have from here. So the entire concept is that, how do we start? Okay, if you ask me, how do the rich, like I was discussing with Mike the other day, how do the rich keep on getting richer? Why does it make it favorable for banks to even look, even banks have these agents that they go after companies, big companies, and they pitch, actually they pitch them loans that will give you at this favorable interest rate. So the company will just sit and say, maybe I will take this, because they will have offers. It's because of collateral.
Yeah.
It's because they have that grounds that they have built and they have collateral to back. So the banks are not scared that they will go with them. The banks have something to hold on. That is what we as Africans need to start creating for ourselves.
Yeah.
And even as a student, you can start that journey.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a student, because I'm saying this because I came here as a student, so I know what it takes to be a student in Germany. And also, to be honest, I made that mistake myself. So it is a mistake that I made. So it means I lost about 2 years of my time that I would have made a strategic investment in terms of building collateral in Germany.
Yeah.
And so in these cases, we have to be conscious, because at the end of the day, the language is very good. Okay. It's a core thing to know if you want to succeed in Germany. The system is, I shared a message on LinkedIn the other day. I'm saying that you cannot know everything, and getting the right source of information is key. And that is why we are having diversified speakers with different experiences and background that they can share in this event. Because it is paramount that we as Africans, we wake up. Because let's say, just the theme zero to legacy. If we sit back as individuals and say, if I am not there today, what am I leaving behind? That is real wealth. Real wealth is not you when your family call you because you are working hard, you will send them money. That's not real wealth. Real wealth is, if I'm not there today, will what I have left be sustainable? That is the idea we should start thinking. And how can we start building that sustainable wealth? It's not just by saving. No, saving inflation is there to stay and it keeps on increasing. So meaning your 100 euros, for example, in 2020 before Corona, or let's say 2019 before Corona, the loaf of bread, the price of loaf of bread compared to now has doubled already. So meaning you're saving your money, it's not good, it's not worth it.
No, no.
But definitely also you investing in things that you don't understand also is not worth it. So you need guidance, you need strategic investments, you need also to be intentional about every financial move you take. Because €1, even one, like Stephen, you were saying that you realize you just pay these gym guys 300 or 700 euros, which you could have used yourself to do an investment or so. It's because, and I don't blame you for it, I see it every day. And one way or the other, we have all been there. Because you find yourself paying for something that you are not actually using. Let's say you go to your closet. I guarantee you 80% of the clothes you have on your closet, in your closet, you don't wear them, but you keep on buying.
Yeah.
So we need to consciously think about every financial move that involve money. Everything, right from the small details. Because at the end of the day, the only way we can be sustainable wealth is having your money work for you. That is the only way.
Yeah.
And there is no shortcut to that. It takes patience, it takes consistency, it takes strategic planning. And we're going to tap on that.
100%.
Wow, that's incredible stuff. I feel like we're just touching bits of it, but it's going to get even better on that day on the 13th. And I know Mike is going to come in here, but there is something also, the third concept that you touched while you're talking. I was writing down. You indirectly mentioned on the idea of appearing rich but not growing wealth. Could you elaborate more on that? And why is this really an issue in our community? Why do you think we need to pay attention on that?
Okay. If you ask me, do you know, imagine I'm a financial advisor, right? I advise people how to make money. I advise people how to strategically plan their finances. I drive a Falve Polo. I can afford a very good BMW or Audi. I can afford it. But I'm young. I'm building a legacy. I'm building my family. If you ask me about assets, now it's a different story. But if you ask me about liability, I'll mention my Falve Polo because it depreciates. Cars are not assets. Cars are liabilities. If you say, how are you using your credit? Some people, you take credit for, let's say, take credit for your phone. You change your phone every day, every year. iPhone, you're following trend. You're following trend. This iPhone, take the iPhone of 2015 and 2016. Tell me a difference. If you just show it, what is the difference? But you see, you have to change it because you are following trend. So at the end of the day, to be honest, if you ask me, it all boils down into mentality, the mindset, and what we also pass down to our children. Because children see all these things. What you consider as important to you, as valuable, is what your child will also consider as important. And that is why, and Germany has a system where they follow the trend of the parents to give recommendation on if this child can go to a university or this child will do just a normal house building and so. So they followed some kind of trend. So it is the same aspect where we need to consciously, if we didn't have an opportunity to maybe get the right education, get the right certification to really improve our finances, we can pass on something significant to our children.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell people, one of the things that happened to me, I always share this story. While I was in at the university, I had two white friends. These guys, while we were there struggling for lager, because I had lager, man, I had to pay bills, I had to survive. While I was there struggling, I would go sometimes night shift and come back in the morning and I need to go to class.
Yeah.
These guys, they have their comfortable apartment, they have their cars, they live a good life. They focus. They are always, one thing about them is that they have money, but you don't see them living lavishly. Okay, they are consciously taking care of their education, meaning they focus on their studies. These Germans, they read, they study. So now, but I didn't have that luxury. I attend classes with my eyes red because I'm so tired. But they have all the time in the world. So I was curious. I asked one, I said, but is it that your parents are too rich that you don't even look for a job? They said, bro, my parents made provisions for this moment. It dawned on me. But how do your parents make provisions for this moment? Say, bro, I have. He said because he was not speaking English by then. My German was not that good. He said, "How do they call this thing? Like a trust fund or something?" I said, "But I had my idea that trust fund is only for the rich. Where you want to give a trust fund for your child, it's just for the rich.
For the rich.
It's for the rich." But no, so the explanation was by then it was still Deutschmark when before, let's say 25 years ago, so 2022 23 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he said in equivalent to euro, his mother was doing 150 euros monthly investment for him. So that provided a kickstart. Imagine this guy is paying all those bills from that investment and he already has a kickstart. Let's say he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He wanted to kickstart his business. I'm talking in familiarity because Stephen, Mike, you already know what it takes to run a
Yeah.
startup. It's not an easy road. But these kids already have a startup, but with how much did they start? And we are fortunate to be in a land where kindergarten is being given. With or without it, we owe the responsibility to take care of our children.
Yeah.
It still boils down to consciously and strategically planning.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say legacy, it's not only about working on yourself, but also how you can, because the love we have as parents, because I'm a parent too, the love we have as parents for our children, the struggle that I went through is not what I would expect my child to go through.
No.
What the mentality that some of us parents we have is that if my child does not pass through this hardship, he will not really understand the value of money and things like that. That's bullshit to me. Because the real education does not mean your child has to suffer. The real education, children learn by doing. If they watch you, it's very simple. If you tell a child, this when you were young, I started this investment for you. This is how much I've been doing. This is how much it has healed. And this is how much you are supposed to continue to start building something for yourself. It teaches that child a lesson that child will never forget because the proof is there. So we need to start changing our mentality, not only for ourselves, We're also passing on financial literacy to our children. And
Yeah.
some of us, Stephen, you made mention of the fact that when, let's say, 20 years ago, people say they missed opportunity. It's the same thing 20 years from now. People will start saying, I miss opportunity now because, for example, real estate is always a very good example. It's going up, okay? No matter how slow it gets, but it's going up. So meaning that everything will be more expensive in like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Meaning that the time to act is now. The time to consciously know the direction that you are taking is now. So I think the I don't know who you guys came up with a perfect theme, this zero to legacy, because we came here as I can say adventurers with
Yeah.
nothing to show for. But at the end of the day, you don't want to leave this place or have your children look behind and realize that, oh, I have to start from zero. I mean, your child telling you that or telling himself that I have to start from zero. No, the
Yeah.
child has to start from where you stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That mentality, we owe that to our children, to the next generation to come. And you cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. That is why from the first when we started, I said I really admire when I looked at the speakers, they are it's very rich profile. And definitely, even though I'm a speaker, I have a lot to learn from those who are to speak on that day. Really, really excited.
100%.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Romaric, for really breaking down those concepts. And it's just the start. I'm sure it's going to be much more exciting. Mike, would you like to come and touch base on what Romaric has said, but also to give us a glimpse on some of the speakers on our lineup on that big day on the 13th
Definitely.
of June?
Yeah. I mean, the whole topic about wealth creation could not be overemphasized. It's something that, yeah, you can't also force someone to do it. You just would do your part and then hope that they pick up because one way or the other, we get to learn it. Uh, I think in one way or the other, we can all see the mistakes that we've made in the relatively short time that we've lived in Germany. But what's more interesting is we are going to live in an even much longer time. So it's still not too late to learn the right way and begin to build something for yourself and your generation. So, to everybody, come on that day and be a part of the event. Learn, connect, and speak with others. Just to give you an idea of what to expect on that day. Um, so, again, just seeing that it's not just words, but actually from people who have lived the experience. The keynote speaker, um, Amina Mugenyi Görsch, she's lived in Germany for over 40 years. So, talking about people who missed opportunity or seized the opportunity, she definitely has experience. And you will be connecting with her live on that day. She's going to give the keynote speech on that day, giving us an idea of what life was back then in comparison to today, what the opportunities were then and what they are today, and what you should know. And then there's, of course, Romaric who's going to be there telling us about wealth building. You already got a glimpse of what he's going to talk about more on that day. Today was just to open your eyes to what to expect. Very importantly, another aspect which people are always missing is understanding the tax system in Germany. It's crazy. When I think about the tax declaration I did 2021, 22, yeah, and 2020 actually, yeah, I started doing my no, what am I saying? I started doing my taxes from 2028, 2020, 2018, 19, 20. And then for the first time I did in 2023, when I saw the difference, I don't even know how I felt. In the previous years, I would do the declarations, I would get like 500, 400. But then I did in 2023, oh yeah, 2023. After I learned and I understood, the things that I am supposed to declare because I work and I pay like half of my salary for tax. But then I understood the things that you need to declare, especially for us Africans or foreigners. We spend a lot of money both here and also helping our parents and families back home. And these are things that we are supposed to declare. And not to mention those of us who also are building businesses on the side. It's like we work, but we don't think about how that our activities can benefit us. It's like what is driving you forward. But anyways, 2020, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, I was doing my taxes and I was getting like 400, 500, and I thought I was getting money until I understood it in 2023. I did it. I don't want to mention how much I got back, but the difference was huge. Like it's not something that you could have thought about. So again, taxes. A lot of us Africans and foreigners in Germany are we are forfeiting a lot of money yearly on taxes. This you're going to learn on that day. And then also moving forward, we're going to have a panel discussions with entrepreneurs who have built businesses in Germany. It's not easy to build a business. Like I mentioned some time ago, by default, every migrant living abroad is an entrepreneur because the first thing that took you abroad is you were looking for something. You moved from your previous location to another location because you couldn't find what you were looking for. So by default, you are an entrepreneur. So it's normal to find a lot of us having businesses, but then how many of us are thriving in that business? We're going to have a panel discussions with other guys who are also building their businesses to learn how to sell your first product, how to make your first money. What else again am I missing? There are, of course, going to be talks from um, other business owners about innovation using digital tools to manage your business. Essentially, everything around building wealth, cutting across how things were in the past, what it is today, practical aspect of wealth creation, key areas like tax declaration, learning from other entrepreneurs, and also understanding how to use digital tools for your business. I think we could not cover everything on that day because it's like 5 hours, but I think that would be the beginning of, a trend. So now we're not talking about iPhone 14 trend or 16 trend. Now we'll be talking about wealth building trend. I think that's a better trend that I want to be a part of. Yeah.
Yeah, you said it very well, Mike. Just to again add on to what you just mentioned, the speakers that are going to be there on that day, it's like they all have their own background, their own history, and they all have some contribution on the economy and the community. And I think I'm thinking about the story of YayraSpark, someone who grew up here in Europe and then finding it hard to fit in and then finding her voice, but struggling through hard and thin. Like, I remember the story when we were having that podcast with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then now finding her own idea. But not only that, then going backwards to Africa and also starting businesses and inspiring many other people. So I find the topics are going to be very interesting for people that are coming. That everyone has something to learn from it. And if you think about the fades and braids, going to have a lot of people probably that have business ideas, but maybe in the area of cosmetics and beauty, they don't even know how to start a business. And now he's giving them a platform to not even open a business, but to use that platform to set up their own businesses using his digital platform. So I find it quite an interesting selection of speakers. And I would like to ask Romaric, maybe as we are closing this, maybe this is very personal for you. Wherever you go and attend meetings like this, you always want to go with an idea of having inspired someone. What is it that you're looking forward to that day when you go home to say that at least I impacted this person's life? What kind of knowledge do you want them to go home with?
Yeah. In a program like this, most often you see people are very excited. People always nod their heads because reality always kicks in that, oh, what have I been doing all these years?
Yeah.
But nobody takes action. You just go back to the same mess you left So what I expect is for people to come here to this event because it's going to be very, very practical. It's not motivation, it's not a motivational talk that we will be doing, but we'll focus on the practicality of things that we face every day. And meaning that because with my experience, you have a lot of people making mistakes, especially regarding to managing their finances. We the result of this is action
Yeah.
for you at the end of the day to talk to someone. Like we have experts that will have digital platforms that you cannot only be an employee, but also think direction of creating a business yourself. You have
100%.
access to people who know how to do it, strategic investment, meaning you have to reach out to people for consultation. The one thing about the event is that we as speakers have decided to provide free consultation to these individuals who will be participating. So, meaning that it will cost them nothing to get more insights. So you need to take action on how best they can touch even areas because we will have people who have been in the working or who have been working as employees for a very long time who share their experiences and also how to build your profile and stand out even in searching for jobs, how to look at because you, Stephen, you Mike, are all proofs that you can have a job and also run a business. So meaning that they need that practicality, that step, and that they need to take that additional step, not only listen, but also get in touch with us
Yeah.
and seek guidance. And definitely we will be there all the way to guide them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 100%.
Thank you so much, Romaric. And I'm guessing that we wanted to make a teaser of 30 minutes, but now we're almost shooting an hour, but it's just getting interesting. So, not to be spoiler, this, Mike, would you like to make the last speech for that big event on the 13th of June?
Yeah. So it's going to be on the 13th of June in Berlin. You can find the details wherever you're watching this from on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Stephen and I, we're going to be there, obviously, Romaric and all the speakers. You need to register for the event. It's very important because we have limited seats. Actually, we were hoping to host up to 120 people, but finally, we did not get a big location that would take that many people. So the numbers are actually very limited, and we will cap it as soon as we get the numbers. In any case, we're also making provision for virtual participation. So if you're not able to come in person, then by all means, you can join us online. Just to make it clear, this will be the beginning of a new trend which is going to come. Subsequently, what you can expect would be a more detailed session just focused on wealth building. Because Romaric, for example, is going to be speaking for 30 minutes and maybe he has some time for a one on one chat. We'll see. But there you could not know everything. So, also the same goes for the tax aspect, the entrepreneurs who are going to be there as well. Everyone has just a really limited amount of time. But our goal is from this event that we begin to have more specific conversations on all the different topics. Be there on time. It's going to start at, Steven, is it 10 a.m. or 1 p.m.? No, I think it's going to start from 1 p.m., I
It's
believe.
1 to 5 p.m. Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be from 1 to 5 p.m. It's in a central location in Berlin. If you live in Berlin or if you're going to be coming from anywhere in Germany, so I think you can easily find the place. Otherwise, if you're outside of Berlin, then for sure, do join us online. Register at our website, which you see the link right now on the screen. Just opportunity-pulse.com/events. Yeah, and then you get all the details straight into your inbox.
Awesome. Like Romaric has said, this is going to be absolutely free information, and some of these people you need to set up appointments, and they are very coveted people. So having a chance to meet them in person, one-on-one, and myself looking forward to meeting Romaric in person. So I'm sure that many guys are looking forward to that. So sign up on the link so that we know whether you're coming. If we can at least save the space for you, we'll do that. If you can't, then you have to join us virtually. Thank you so much, Mike. And Romaric, would you like to make the last speech for anyone who is still on the edge, trying to say, oh, it's a Friday, should I come, should I not come? What is it that they will miss should they not come?
Definitely, if you are someone who wants to take a positive change in your life, be it wealth building related, or be it you want to take practical footsteps that can have an impact not only on yourself, but the future generation. You want an impact, you want to be impactful in everything that you do. I think I believe that this event is a must participate. So we are extremely excited because at the end of the day, what we have to offer is not just the words, but how we can move from zero, like the theme says, to legacy. So, meaning how we can create that roadmap. So, if you are out there wondering on what your next move is going to look like, then it is an event for you. If you're out there wondering how you can make your money work for you, it is an event for you. If you're out there wondering what type of business can I get into, it is an event for you. If you're out there looking for people that have the same drive that you are trying to, that are into what you are trying to do, or because most of the time we lack that motivation, meaning that we lack people to look up to. We lack people that are actually where you want to be. So this is an event which you will have a lot of people who are into areas that you actually want to be, who are happy and willing to share their experiences and guide you along the way. So it is not just going to end at the event, meaning we will do a lot of follow-up, a lot of mentorship, a lot of guidance, and a lot of information will be shared. So it is also part of community building. It is also part of networking. So it is a must attend event if you want to be successful in Germany.
Thank you so much, Romaric.
I don't think I would add anything to that. With those wise words from Romaric, I would like to say thank you so much, guys. It was amazing. It was a nice teaser. And we're looking forward to meeting you all in person on that day. From my
Excited.
end, and yeah, see you there.
See you there.
See you there.
Guys.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Catch up then.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Yeah,
everyone.
bye-bye. Cheers.